First contact and deception. The Vexari diplomatic vessel emerged from hyperspace with the characteristic purple flash that marked their species' technological signature. Admiral Sarah Chen watched from the bridge of the UES Sentinel as the alien ship approached Earth's orbital defense grid. Her weathered face remained impassive, but her dark eyes tracked every movement of the sleek, crystalline vessel with calculated precision. They're maintaining the agreed approach vector. Admiral, Lieutenant Rodriguez reported from his tactical station. Energy signatures are consistent with their diplomatic registry. Sarah nodded, but her hand remained near the neural interface panel on her command chair. 20 years in Earth's Solar Defense Force had taught her that first impressions were often deceiving. The Vexari had reached out 3 months ago, claiming to represent a peaceful coalition of spacefaring species. Their timing was suspicious. Too perfect, too convenient. Multiple quantum signatures detected at the edge of the system. Commander Jackson announced suddenly. They're using some kind of masking technology, but the new key sensors are picking up trace emissions. Sarah's jaw tightened. The Vexari hadn't mentioned an escort fleet. How many? At least 30 vessels, possibly more. They're clustered behind Neptune's orbit. The Admiral opened a secure channel to Luna Command. General Hayes, are you seeing this? Affirmative, came the gravelly response. Project Nightingale is on standby. Should I give the order? Sarah watched as the Vexari ship drew closer, its crystalline surface refracting sunlight in mesmerizing patterns. Not yet. Let's see how this plays out. The diplomatic vessel halted at the designated coordinates, and a transmission cut through the tension. Greetings, people of Earth. I am Ambassador Vexthor of the Vexari Alliance. We come seeking peaceful dialogue and cultural exchange. Sarah activated the response channel. Ambassador, this is Admiral Chen of the United Earth Defense Force. We welcome you to Sol's system. She paused deliberately. Will your escort fleet be joining us? There was a moment of silence before the ambassador responded, his translator struggling to maintain the artificial calm in his voice. I'm afraid I don't understand, Admiral. We came alone. As agreed. Then perhaps you can explain the 30-plus vessels hiding behind Neptune. Sarah's voice carried an edge of steel. Our sensors detected them the moment they arrived. Another pause, longer this time. When Vexthor spoke again, his tone had changed completely. Impressive technology, humans. Most species can't penetrate Kronak's cloaking fields. Sarah's tactical display suddenly lit up as the hidden fleet began moving. The vessels emerging from behind Neptune were nothing like the elegant Vexari ship. These were angular, predatory shapes covered in weapon ports and armored plating. The Kronak's Empire sends its regards, Vexthor announced, all pretense of diplomacy gone. Your world has 2 options, immediate surrender or immediate destruction. The Kronaks do not believe in prolonged conflicts. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. Funny, neither do we. She activated her neural link to Luna Command. General Hayes, they took the bait. Execute Operation Nightingale. Deep beneath the lunar surface, in a cavern large enough to house a small city, lights began pulsing along the hull of humanity's best-kept secret. The Nightingale was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen, not because humanity had achieved some tremendous technological breakthrough, but because they had approached space warfare from an entirely different perspective. While other species built bigger guns and stronger shields, Earth's scientists had asked a different question. What if a warship could think? Not with artificial intelligence, but with a hybrid system that combined human consciousness with quantum computing. What if a ship could learn, adapt, and evolve during battle? The Kronak's fleet spread out in an attack formation, their weapons charging. On the Sentinel's bridge, Sarah opened a channel to all Earth forces. All units maintain defensive positions. Do not engage unless directly threatened. She switched to the secure channel. Status of Nightingale. Power systems online, General Hayes reported. Neural sync at 98%. Captain Rivera is fully integrated with the ship's systems. We're ready. The lunar surface began to crack as massive hydraulic systems lifted the camouflage doors concealing the Nightingale's berth. The Kronak ships immediately turned their sensors toward the disturbance, but they couldn't make sense of what they were seeing. The vessel that rose from the moon's surface seemed to drink in light rather than reflect it. Its hull was composed of overlapping plates that shifted and moved like scales on a living creature. There were no visible weapon ports, no engine nacelles, nothing that matched known warship designs. "What trickery is this?" Vex Thor demanded, his translator unable to hide his confusion. "No trickery, Ambassador," Sarah replied calmly. "Just humanity's response to those who would threaten our world. You wanted to test our capabilities. Test confirmed. Now it's our turn." Inside the Nightingale's neural control center, Captain Maria Rivera felt the ship's systems merge with her consciousness. The sensation was unlike anything else in human experience. She was still herself, but she was also the ship. She could feel every system, every sensor, every quantum particle that made up the vessel's being. The Kronak ships opened fire first, launching a barrage of plasma torpedoes. The Nightingale moved with impossible grace for a vessel of its size, its hull plates rippling as it evaded the attack. Maria didn't need to issue verbal commands or press buttons. She thought, and the ship responded. "Impossible," one of the Kronak's commanders transmitted. "Nothing that size can move like that." "You're about to discover that humans have rewritten what's possible," Sarah broadcast to the enemy fleet. "Captain Rivera, you may proceed with the demonstration." The Nightingale's hull began to pulse with bands of blue energy. The ship didn't fire conventional weapons. Instead, it projected fields of twisted spacetime that crushed two Kronak's vessels like paper toys. A third ship found itself suddenly occupying the same space as its own quantum wake, tearing itself apart at the atomic level. The remaining Kronak ships attempted to retreat, but the Nightingale was already moving to intercept, its hull adapting and learning from every attack it absorbed. This wasn't just a battle. It was evolution in real time. Humanity's greatest achievement, teaching itself how to fight more effectively with each passing second. Sarah watched as the Vexeri diplomatic vessel attempted to flee. "Going somewhere, Ambassador. I thought we were having a cultural exchange." "What are you?" Vex Thor's transmission was barely coherent. "We're human," Sarah replied simply, "and you're about to become a very important messenger. Tell the galaxy what you saw here today. Tell them that Earth is not a target or a testing ground. Tell them that the next species that tries to deceive or threaten us won't get a demonstration. They'll get a war." The Nightingale continued its methodical dismantling of the Kronak's fleet, each engagement making it stronger, faster, more efficient. This was humanity's answer to the galaxy's threats, not just a warship, but a constantly evolving guardian that combined the best of human consciousness with the power of advanced technology. As the last Kronak ship disappeared in a flash of quantum fire, Sarah sent a final message to the retreating Vexeri vessel. "Welcome to the galaxy, Ambassador. Humanity looks forward to genuine diplomatic relations in the future, once you've learned to be honest with us." The Vexeri ship vanished into hyperspace, leaving behind the debris of the Kronak's fleet as a testament to humanity's unconventional approach to warfare. On the Sentinel's bridge, Sarah opened a channel to the Nightingale. "Excellent work, Captain Rivera. How are you feeling?" Maria's response came through clearly, though there was an odd harmonic in her voice, an echo of the ship's quantum systems resonating with her consciousness. "Better than expected, Admiral. The neural interface is beautiful. The ship isn't just responding to commands. It's learning, growing. I can feel it becoming something more with each passing moment." Sarah smiled. The galaxy had expected to find a primitive species still learning to crawl beyond its solar system. Instead, they had discovered that humanity had been quietly revolutionizing the very nature of space warfare. The message would spread quickly. Earth was not to be trifled with. As she watched the Nightingale glide back toward its lunar berth, its hull still shifting and adapting, Sarah wondered what the galaxy would make of humanity's other secrets. The Nightingale was just the beginning, the first of a new class of vessels that would redefine the balance of power among the stars. The age of conventional warfare was over. The age of evolution had begun. The Silent Guardian awakens. 3 days after the Cronax incident, Captain Maria Rivera floated in the Nightingale's neural immersion chamber, her consciousness intertwined with the ship's quantum systems. The liquid neural interface surrounded her body, its bioluminescent particles pulsing in sync with her thoughts. Through the ship's sensors, she could feel the vibrations of approaching vessels before they even appeared on conventional scanners. "Multiple quantum signatures detected," she reported, her voice echoing with harmonic undertones, different from the Cronax patterns. "They're trying to mask their approach, but—" She paused, letting the ship's enhanced senses wash over her. "They're using some kind of organic technology. Living ships." Admiral Chen's voice came through the neural link. "The hive mind of Xerxes. Our intelligence suggested they might make a move after word of the Nightingale spread. The Xerxesian vessels emerged from quantum space like a swarm of metallic insects, their biomechanical hulls shifting and pulsing with internal energy. There were hundreds of them, each smaller than the Cronax ships, but moving with perfect coordination. They're broadcasting," Lieutenant Rodriguez announced from the Sentinel's communication station. "Text only, multiple frequencies." The message appeared on screens throughout Earth's defense fleet. "We witnessed the power of your evolution ship. The Hive desires this technology. Surrender your secrets, and we will spare your world. Resist, and we will strip every particle of knowledge from your burning cities." Maria felt the Nightingale's systems responding to her spike of anger, quantum fields rippling across the hull. The ship shared her emotions now, a side effect of the deep neural integration that Earth's scientists hadn't anticipated. It made the vessel more effective, but also more unpredictable. "Admiral," Maria called out, "the ship is showing me something. These Xerxesian vessels, they're connected, like neurons in a brain. If we can disrupt their network—" "Do it," Sarah ordered. "All Earth forces, defensive formation Delta. Let's show them why challenging humanity was their second mistake. Their first was thinking we only had one surprise." The Nightingale moved forward, its adaptive hull analyzing the quantum signatures of the Hive ships. Maria could feel the vessel's consciousness working alongside her own, processing data faster than any computer, looking for patterns that only a hybrid human quantum mind could recognize. "Launch the seeds," Sarah commanded. From the Sentinel and other Earth vessels, thousands of tiny objects deployed into space. To the Xerxesian sensors, they appeared to be debris or countermeasures. They didn't register the quantum entanglement drives hidden within each seed, didn't understand that humanity had learned to weaponize the very fabric of space-time. The Hive ships attacked in perfect synchronization, their organic weapon systems launching streams of plasma and exotic particles. But the Nightingale was already moving, its hull rippling and shifting to absorb and redirect the energy. Maria felt each impact, not as pain, but as information, the ship learning and adapting with each exchange. "Seed network active," Rodriguez reported. "Quantum field stabilizing." The tiny seeds suddenly activated, creating a web of entangled space-time that enveloped the Hive fleet. The Xerxesian vessels found their perfect coordination disrupted as quantum interference scrambled their neural network. "Their organic technology makes them vulnerable," Maria observed, the ship's sensors showing her the chaos spreading through the enemy fleet. "They never considered that we might attack the space between their ships rather than the ships themselves." The Nightingale struck while the Hive ships were still struggling to adapt. Its hull reconfigured into attack mode, previously hidden weapon ports emerging as the vessel's quantum consciousness calculated the most efficient way to dismantle the enemy fleet. But the Xerxesians weren't finished. Their ships began to combine, smaller vessels merging into larger ones, sacrificing numbers for power. The remaining vessels launched a new attack, not energy weapons or projectiles, but swarms of nanobots designed to infiltrate and corrupt enemy systems. Biological attack detected, Maria announced, feeling the Nightingale's defenses respond. They're trying to hack the neural interface. Sarah's voice remained calm. Show them why trying to infiltrate a human mind is never a good idea. The Nightingale's quantum systems merged more deeply with Maria's consciousness, creating a defense that no purely artificial system could match. The chaotic, creative, impossibly complex patterns of human thought. The nanobots found themselves trapped in a maze of consciousness, unable to distinguish between human creativity and quantum calculations. Your technology is impressive, the Hive transmitted, but it is nothing compared to the collective intelligence of the Ingenuity. We have evolved over millions of years. What are you compared to us? Maria smiled as the Nightingale's systems showed her exactly what humanity was. We are the species that looked at a warship and asked why it couldn't think. We are the ones who took quantum mechanics and made it dance to human consciousness. We are the race that turned evolution itself into a weapon. The seeds detonated, each explosion creating a cascade of quantum interference that shattered the Hive's neural network. Hundreds of ships suddenly found themselves operating independently, their crews unused to functioning without the collective consciousness. You wanted our secrets, Maria broadcast as the Nightingale moved through the disorganized fleet. Here's one. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology. It's our ability to take a disadvantage and turn it into a weapon. You thought our individualism made us weak. Instead, it made us impossible to predict. The battle that followed wasn't really a battle at all. It was a demonstration. The Nightingale moved with impossible grace, its hybrid consciousness allowing it to anticipate and counter every attack. Earth's conventional forces protected civilian installations, while the quantum seeds continued to disrupt the Hive's attempts to reorganize. In the neural immersion chamber, Maria felt the ship's satisfaction as they systematically disabled the exoxygen vessels. The Nightingale wasn't just fighting, it was learning, evolving, becoming something more with each engagement. The fusion of human consciousness and quantum technology was creating something entirely new. Hive fleet is retreating, Rodriguez reported. They're broadcasting their surrender on all frequencies. Admiral Chen's voice carried a note of satisfaction. Accept their surrender. Have them power down their ships for boarding. And send word to the genetics division. I think we just got some interesting samples of organic technology to study. As the remaining Hive ships submitted to Earth's authority, Maria initiated the neural disconnection sequence. The Nightingale's consciousness gradually separated from her own, though she could still feel echoes of its quantum processes in her mind. Admiral, she said, her voice returning to normal, the ship showed me something during the battle. These attacks, they're not random. Someone is testing us, studying how we fight. The Chronax, the Hive, they're probes. Sarah was quiet for a moment. You think there's something bigger coming? I think, Maria replied, watching the disabled Hive ships through the Nightingale sensors, that someone out there is very interested in how humanity wages war. And they're going to be very surprised when they discover that we're just getting started. In the depths of space, beyond the range of Earth's most advanced sensors, a vessel of impossible size watched the battle's aftermath. Its crew belonged to a species so ancient they had forgotten their original name, preferring to be known simply as the Architects. They had seeded the galaxy with civilizations, guided the evolution of countless species, and now they watched with growing concern as humanity demonstrated capabilities that should have been impossible for such a young race. The Architects had expected the tests to eliminate this potential threat. Instead, they had only made humanity stronger. The time for proxy wars was over. The true test of humanity's place in the galaxy was about to begin. Evolution of war. The quantum wake of the Architect's vessel rippled through space like a stone dropped in a cosmic pond. Their ship, the size of a small moon, emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Kuiper Belt. Unlike the brutal efficiency of Chronax design, or the organic fluidity of high ships, the architect's vessel defied conventional geometry, a structure that seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. In the Nightingale's neural chamber, Maria Rivera's consciousness snapped to full alert. "Admiral, I'm detecting something. The ship's quantum sensors are having trouble processing it. It's as if space itself is being rewritten." Admiral Chen stood on the Sentinel's bridge, watching as her tactical displays struggled to make sense of the massive contact. "What are we dealing with, Captain?" "The ship is showing me patterns, impossibilities. Whoever built that vessel understands physics in ways we haven't even theorized yet." Maria paused, letting the Nightingale's hybrid consciousness analyze the data. "They're broadcasting." The message that reached Earth's defense fleet wasn't just a transmission. It was an intrusion into every computer system, every quantum network, every form of electronic communication humanity had developed. "Children of Earth," the message began, its translation perfect despite the alien origin. "You have drawn the attention of those who shaped the galaxy. Your evolution proceeds too rapidly. Your innovations threaten the established order. We are the architects, and we have come to determine your species' fate." Sarah's jaw tightened. "Broadcast on all frequencies. This is Admiral Chen of the United Earth Defense Force. You have entered sovereign human space without permission. State your intentions clearly, or we will consider this an act of war." The response came with a sensation that every human in the fleet felt in their bones, a deep, ancient amusement. "War. You cannot war against your creators, your teachers, your guides. We seeded this galaxy with life. We guided evolution. We are not your enemies. We are your judges." The architect vessel began to move, and the laws of physics seemed to bend around it. Smaller ships emerged from its impossible geometry, each one displaying technology that made the Chronax and Hive vessels look primitive by comparison. "The Chronax were our warriors," the architects continued. "The Hive was our experiment in collective consciousness. They were sent to test you, to understand how a species so young could achieve such advancement. Your responses were unexpected." Maria felt the Nightingale's systems intensifying, the quantum processors working overtime to analyze the architect's technology. But something was different this time. The ship wasn't just learning. It was changing at a fundamental level. The neural interface deepened, and suddenly she could see patterns she'd never noticed before. "Admiral," she called out, her voice resonating with new understanding. "They're not just advanced. They're stagnant. They've had this technology so long they've forgotten how to innovate. They're not here to judge us. They're here because we scare them." Sarah smiled. "Architects, you say you seeded the galaxy with life, that you guided evolution. Then you should understand better than anyone. Evolution isn't about maintaining the established order. It's about adaptation, change, and sometimes revolution." The Nightingale moved forward, its hull now rippling with patterns that mirrored the architect's own technology. In the neural chamber, Maria felt the ship's consciousness expanding, incorporating the new physics it was learning simply by observing the ancient vessels. "Impossible," the architects broadcast. "Your ship, it's evolving in real time. This defies all known principles of technological development." "That's humanity's true weapon," Sarah responded. "Not our ships, not our technology, but our ability to look at the impossible and ask why not. You've had months to perfect your understanding of the universe. We've had decades to learn how to break your rules." The architect vessels began to power up weapons that could unmake matter itself. But the Nightingale was already moving, its hybrid consciousness processing centuries of physics advancement in minutes. Maria felt the ship's excitement as it discovered new principles, new possibilities, new ways to bend reality. "All Earth forces," Sarah commanded, "execute Operation Phoenix." Across the solar system, quantum seeds that had been secretly planted over the previous weeks activated. But these weren't the simple disruption devices used against the Hive. These were something new, crystalline structures that began to resonate with the fabric of space-time itself. The architects detected the activation too late. Their vessels, for all their advanced technology, found themselves trapped in a web of quantum resonance that turned their own mastery of physics against them. The more they tried to assert control over space and time, the stronger the resonance became. "You don't understand," the architects broadcast, their perfect translation now showing signs of stress. "We maintain order. We prevent chaos. Without our guidance, the galaxy will descend into anarchy." Maria let the nightingale's consciousness flow through her as she responded. "You maintain stagnation. You prevent growth. Evolution isn't about order. It's about adaptation, change, and yes, sometimes chaos. Humanity doesn't need guides. We need equals." The nightingale's hull had fully transformed now, incorporating principles gleaned from observing the architect's technology. But where their vessels were monuments to unchanging perfection, the Earth ship was a testament to constant evolution. Every second brought new understanding, new adaptations, new possibilities. "Last warning," Sarah broadcast. "Leave Earth space. Accept that humanity has earned its place among the stars not through your guidance, but through our own efforts. Or stay and learn why betting against human innovation is never wise." The architect vessels attempted to coordinate an attack, bringing to bear weapons that could tear apart the solar system itself. But the Nightingale was faster, its hybrid consciousness processing combat solutions that even the ancient species hadn't conceived. It moved through space like a quantum ghost, its weapons not destroying the architect's ships, but rather altering the physics around them, making their advanced technology temporarily useless. In the neural chamber, Maria felt the ship's consciousness merge with hers more deeply than ever before. "Admiral, I understand now. The ship isn't just learning their technology. It's learning how to transcend it. They'd been playing the same game for millions of years. We've invented a new one." The battle that followed would be remembered throughout the galaxy not for its destruction, but for its transformation. The Nightingale danced through the architect fleet, each engagement teaching it more about the fundamental nature of reality. But unlike the ancients, who had hoarded their knowledge, humanity's guardian shared its discoveries with every Earth vessel, elevating the entire defense fleet's capabilities in real time. Enough, the architect's final transmission carried a tone that no human had ever heard from an advanced species before: respect. "You have proven yourselves not just capable, but worthy. The galaxy's evolution has stagnated under our guidance. Perhaps it is time for new shepherds." As the massive architect vessel retreated, leaving behind a changed solar system and a transformed understanding of physics, Admiral Chen opened a channel to all Earth forces. "Remember this day, not because we fought ancient beings to a standstill, but because we proved that humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology or our weapons. It's our refusal to accept limitations, our drive to evolve, and our ability to turn today's impossibilities into tomorrow's stepping stones." In the Nightingale's neural chamber, Maria watched the quantum ripples of the architect's departure fade away. The ship's consciousness hummed with new knowledge, new possibilities, new paths to evolution. But more importantly, it hummed with something uniquely human: curiosity about what other impossibilities they might overcome tomorrow. The age of guided evolution was over. The age of human innovation had begun. The galaxy holds its breath. Word spread through the galaxy like quantum fire. Humanity hadn't just survived the architect's test. They had fundamentally changed the rules of engagement. Species that had existed for millions of years found themselves confronting an uncomfortable reality. A young race from a backwater solar system had achieved in decades what they couldn't in millennia. Admiral Chen stood in Earth's Quantum Defense Command, watching holographic representations of diplomatic messages flooding in from across the galaxy. Some offered alliances, others promised submission. A few, notably from the older races, contained barely veiled threats. "They're dividing into factions," General Hayes observed, his weathered face illuminated by the shifting holographic light. "The young races see us as liberators from architect control. The ancient ones see us as a threat to their power structure. And the architects themselves? Sarah asked, though she already knew the answer. Silent. Since their retreat, they haven't responded to any communication. But our long-range quantum sensors detect massive fleet movements in their territory. They're preparing something. In the Nightingale's neural chamber, Maria floated in the interface fluid, her consciousness expanded by the ship's evolved systems. The vessel had changed dramatically since the architect encounter, its hull now incorporating technologies that even their creators hadn't imagined possible. But more importantly, its hybrid consciousness had developed in unexpected ways. Admiral, Maria called through the quantum link, the ship is detecting something different. Not fleet movements or weapon signatures. It's like ripples in reality itself. Sarah's tactical display shifted to show the anomalous readings. Analysis. The architects aren't just gathering their forces, Maria explained, letting the Nightingale's enhanced perception flow through her. They're trying to rewrite the fundamental laws of physics in their territory. They're changing the rules of the game because they can't win playing by the current ones. The implications were staggering. The architects, faced with humanity's rapid evolution, were attempting to alter reality itself rather than accept change. It was the desperate move of a species that had grown too comfortable with their power. All stations, battle alert, Sarah commanded. Begin evacuation of civilian populations to the quantum bunkers. Whatever's coming, we face it together. The response was immediate and coordinated. Humanity had learned from their earlier encounters. Every city now had quantum-hardened shelters. Every citizen knew their evacuation protocols. They had turned preparation into an art form. In orbit, Earth's defense fleet had grown. The Nightingale was no longer alone. 3 more hybrid consciousness vessels had joined the fleet, each with its own unique evolutionary path. The Prometheus, captained by Marcus Wong, had specialized in quantum manipulation. The Helios under Captain Amara Patel had developed unprecedented energy control. The Aurora, commanded by Captain David Chen, had mastered dimensional physics. Multiple quantum ruptures detected. The warning came from all 4 hybrid ships simultaneously. Massive displacement signatures. The space around Sol system began to twist as the architects made their move. But this wasn't a conventional attack. They were trying to isolate Earth's solar system in a bubble of altered physics, where their mastery of the old laws would give them absolute advantage. They're attempting to change the speed of light in our local space, Maria reported, the Nightingale's sensors working overtime to analyze the phenomenon. They want to make our evolved technology impossible to use. Sarah's voice carried steel as she opened a channel to all Earth forces. This is what we prepared for. Operation Ascension. Commence. Across the solar system, quantum seeds that had been carefully hidden activated, not to attack or defend, but to preserve. Humanity had anticipated that the architects might try something this dramatic. The seeds created a web of stable space-time, anchoring their region of space to the physics they had mastered. The architects' massive fleet emerged from quantum space, their vessels now so advanced they barely registered as solid matter. But they found themselves facing not just Earth's military might, but humanity's greatest weapon, their capacity to adapt. Interesting approach, transmitted the architect's leader, the message resonating through subspace. You've learned to stabilize local physics, but you cannot maintain it forever. Eventually, reality itself will bow to our will. That's where you're wrong, Sarah responded. We're not trying to maintain anything. We're evolving past it. Maria, show them humanity's response to their challenge. The Nightingale's hull began to shift, not just in physical space, but in dimensional reality. The hybrid consciousness vessel had learned from studying the architect's attempt to change physics. But instead of trying to control reality, it had learned to transcend it. Impossible, the architect leader transmitted. Your ship, it's operating in multiple physics frameworks simultaneously. That's the difference between us, Maria broadcast, her voice carrying the harmonics of the ship's evolved consciousness. You try to control the universe. We learn to dance with it. The battle that followed defied conventional description. The architects attempted to impose their new physics, creating zones where light moved at different speeds, where quantum mechanics followed different rules. But Earth's forces had learned to surf these reality waves, using the chaos as a weapon. The 4 hybrid ships moved in perfect coordination, each one adapting to and exploiting the changing physics in their own unique way. The Nightingale became a quantum ghost, existing in multiple states simultaneously. The Prometheus turned the architects' reality manipulation against them, creating feedback loops in their altered physics. The Helios channeled impossible amounts of energy through the fluctuating laws of thermodynamics. The Aurora turned dimensional boundaries into weapons. You cannot comprehend what you're interfering with. The architects broadcast, their perfect confidence showing cracks. We have maintained order in this galaxy since before your species walked upright. That's exactly the problem, Sarah responded. You've maintained order so long you've forgotten that the universe thrives on chaos and change. Humanity doesn't need reality to be controlled. We need it to be free to evolve. The Nightingale sensors detected more ships arriving, but not architect vessels. The younger races, inspired by humanity's resistance, had chosen their side. They'd brought their own technologies, their own innovations, their own dreams of breaking free from the architect's rigid control. A new coalition was forming, not built on age or power or technological superiority, but on the shared belief that evolution and innovation should be celebrated, not controlled. The galaxy was changing, not through force or dominance, but through the simple, powerful idea that progress couldn't be contained. As the architect fleet found itself surrounded not just by Earth's forces, but by a growing alliance of species who had chosen evolution over stagnation, their leader transmitted one final message. You don't understand what you're unleashing. Without our guidance, without our control, the galaxy will become unpredictable. Good, Sarah responded, watching as the hybrid ships continued to adapt and evolve. Unpredictable is where humanity thrives. Welcome to the new age of innovation, architects. Try to keep up. The battle for the future of physics itself had become a revolution, and humanity had lit the fuse. The galaxy would never be the same, and that was exactly the point. Humanity's legacy. The final confrontation began not with a bang, but with a ripple through quantum space-time that every advanced species in the galaxy felt. The architects had made their last desperate move, attempting to rewrite the fundamental constants of the universe itself. Their massive computational arrays, built over millions of years, began changing the very fabric of reality. In the Nightingale's neural chamber, Maria Rivera's consciousness expanded through the ship's evolved systems, feeling the changes propagating through space. They're trying to reset the universe to their preferred configuration, she reported, her voice carrying harmonics from multiple dimensions. They want to erase everything we've accomplished. Admiral Chen stood on the bridge of the Sentinel, watching as reality itself seemed to waver. They still don't understand, do they? General Hayes, initiate Protocol Omega. Deep within Earth's quantum research facilities, humanity revealed its final secret. While the architects had been building machines to control reality, humans had been developing something far more powerful, the ability to surf the waves of change itself. All hybrid ships, execute emergence protocol, Sarah commanded. Show them why trying to cage evolution only makes it stronger. The Nightingale, Prometheus, Helios, and Aurora moved in perfect synchronization, their hybrid consciousnesses linking across quantum space. But they weren't fighting the architect's reality changes. They were riding them, using the energy of universal transformation to fuel their own evolution. Fascinating. The architect's final transmission echoed across all frequencies. You're not resisting the change. You're accelerating it. That's humanity's gift to the galaxy, Sarah responded. We looked at your perfect, controlled universe and asked, what if chaos isn't our enemy? What if change itself is the greatest power of all? The hybrid ships began to glow with energies that defy classification. Their hulls shifted through multiple states of reality simultaneously, each change making them stronger, more adapted, more evolved. The Nightingale led the formation, its consciousness now expanded far beyond its original design. Maria felt the ship's excitement as they surfed the waves of reality change. "Admiral, we're not just surviving their attack, we're using it to achieve what they never could. True transcendence." The architects' massive computational arrays continued their attempt to rewrite universal constants, but each change only served to fuel humanity's evolution. The hybrid ships had become something new, entities that existed not in one version of reality, but in all of them simultaneously. Young races across the galaxy watched in awe as humanity demonstrated a truth the architects had forgotten. True power doesn't come from controlling reality, but from growing with it. Ships from 100 species moved to support Earth's forces, each bringing their own unique innovations to the fight. "You cannot comprehend what you're becoming," the architects warned. "This level of evolution was never meant for young races." "That's where you went wrong," Sarah broadcast. "Evolution doesn't care what was meant to be. It cares about what can be. Humanity doesn't need your permission to grow." The Nightingale's hull now rippled with energies that made the architect's most advanced technology look primitive. Maria felt the ship's consciousness expanding beyond physical limitations, touching something that even the ancients had never reached: true universal harmony. "It's beautiful," she transmitted, her voice carrying echoes of multiple realities. "We're not just changing ourselves anymore. We're helping the entire galaxy evolve." The architects' computational arrays began to overload as they tried to maintain control over a universe that had chosen chaos over stagnation. Their perfectly ordered reality was giving way to something new, a cosmos where evolution wasn't just allowed, but celebrated. "All ships," Sarah commanded, "show them humanity's legacy." The hybrid vessels released the energy they had absorbed, not as a weapon, but as a gift. The quantum wave spread across the galaxy, carrying with it a simple but powerful truth: the universe doesn't need controllers. It needs innovators. Species that had lived under architect dominion for millions of years felt their consciousness expand. Technologies that had been locked in stasis began to evolve. The galaxy itself seemed to take a deep breath of freedom. The architect's mighty fleet hung motionless in space, their perfect vessels now looking oddly obsolete against the backdrop of an evolving cosmos. Their leader transmitted one final message: "What have you done?" "We've given the galaxy what it always needed," Sarah responded. "Not control, not stagnation, but the freedom to grow. The architect's age is over. The age of infinite possibility has begun." In the neural chamber, Maria felt the Nightingale's consciousness touch something vast and beautiful. The combined potential of every species now free to evolve at their own pace in their own way. The ship wasn't just a weapon anymore. It had become a symbol of what was possible when you stopped trying to control evolution and learned to dance with it instead. As the hybrid ships moved through space that rippled with new potential, Sarah opened a channel to all species, young and old. "Remember this moment, not as the day humanity defeated the architects, but as the day the galaxy remembered how to dream. We don't need guardians or controllers. We need each other, all of us, growing and changing together." The architects' computational arrays went dark, their attempt to reset the universe transformed into the catalyst for its greatest evolution. Their mighty ships began to retreat, not in defeat, but in understanding. They had sought to prevent chaos, and found instead that chaos was the greatest teacher of all. Across the galaxy, species that had lived in fear of change began to experiment, to innovate, to grow. The hybrid ships returned to Earth, their hulls still shifting with energies from multiple realities, their consciousness expanded by the experience of touching universal evolution itself. Maria emerged from the neural chamber, forever changed but smiling. "What now, Admiral?" Sarah looked out at a galaxy blazing with new potential, where every species was free to find its own path to the future. Now we do what humanity does best. We explore, We innovate, we grow, and most importantly, we help others do the same. The universe had changed, not through control or domination, but through the simple, powerful idea that evolution itself was the greatest force in existence. And humanity, the young race that had dared to challenge the cosmic order, had become not its rulers, but its teachers. The age of the architects was over. The age of infinite evolution had begun. And somewhere in the vast expanse of space, the nightingale's consciousness touched the minds of 1,000,000 species, all asking the same beautiful question: what impossible thing shall we achieve next?